the Road to 1,000 breaking runs, racks 13 and 14, 10 ball, 9-foot table, 4 1/8 inch pockets, magic rack. I do want to say that many of my breaks will be awful. I'm always constantly changing something. That's one of the purposes of doing this competition or doing this challenge. I'm always constantly trying to induce power to the break and so forth. Anybody can just barely pop break the balls. But again, the whole point of this is try to push myself and learn something. So many of the breaks aren't good. That one there was okay. The next rack actually is awful. But anyway, that was a break. I did make the 7 in the side. I have a shot on the 1 here, but the cue ball is going to track toward the 2. I try to hit it slow enough to control the cue ball and the 2 ball to keep them close together. Unfortunately, the 2 rolled back up on the cue ball and left myself a terrible angle. Looking at the shot, I do realize I can cut it all the way to the top left corner. Playing shape on the 3 is kind of tough. I figured I'll probably run into the 3. I did run into the 3. I was very fortunate to hit it square in the face, come around table. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of luck in that shot. The 3 lined up great for the corner pocket. Shooting this 3 ball with a high right spin, I planned on to go between the 6 and the 10 and come back out for the 4, but I actually ran it into the 6. I played a 3 into the wrong part of the pocket. Very fortunate to be able to see the 4 ball here. Basically, this shot here, you just want to bear down and make the 4. The 5's close to the pocket. I believe I shoot the 4 ball with, yes, a low left cue ball. Confident stroke, just trying to pocket the ball. Unfortunately, I did roll the cue ball up on the 9 ball, but instead of getting discouraged, I get down, roll the 5 in with a little bit of high left spin. I play the window between the 9 and 10. This next shot, I believe I just use a dead low cue ball and decide to draw straight back to play the 8 in the top corner. This shot here is probably the toughest of the entire rack, honestly, because it's a speed shot. Nice stroke, just barely rolled the cue ball back, and I got fairly good on the 8 ball. This 8 ball shot is basically a power, stun shot. I'm trying to go all the way to the long rail to the left and come straight back out to play the 9 this side. I hit this ball very, very good. The camera makes it hard to tell, but there's actually a little bit more angle than you think, so I believe I hit this 9 ball on the side with a little bit of high right spin to go 1 rail, 2 rails. Yes, back around the 10. Played at a great speed. 10 ball, straight in. I did leave the cue on the rails. That's kind of a bummer, but you just bear down, roll the 10 in, and that's the conclusion of this rack. Okay, this break here is honestly awful. It's rack 14 on the Road to 1,000 breaking runs. After about 100 recorded videos, I'm actually hitting them pretty well now with power, but this was earlier on in the video process. It seemed like anytime I tried to induce power, I couldn't get the pop. It's because so much body movement and so forth. I did end up making some balls in the break, though. I'll remind you that these pockets are 4 1/8 inch, and the side pockets, you cannot fit 2 balls at the same time into the sides. They will completely jam up. So the pockets are very, very snug on the sides, but I believe I play the 1 ball on the side here. You see me switch out cue balls. If you've never heard me say it before, I do this so in case the cue ball flies off the table, I have a brand new musil ball that I like to protect, so sometimes I switch them out. But anyway, shooting the 1 ball on the side here with a high cue ball, just dead center high cue ball. I roll the 1 in. I make sure to play an angle, hit it hard enough to keep an angle for the 3 ball. Shooting the 3, I realize where the 4 is and then where the 5 is. I want to leave an angle on the 4 or at least be straight in. So I want to come at least to the middle of the table when I come across. That's a low left spin on the cue ball. Again, I said the middle of the table. That's about right. So at the 4 ball here, I believe I just draw straight back. That way I can have a shot on the 5 on the side. So this is a dead center low cue ball. I used a pretty big stroke there, and honestly, it was probably not the correct thing to do. I should have shortened my backstroke and just been more smooth, and I would have got more draw out of the cue ball. Shooting the 5 here, I try to shoot the 5 on the side and go 2 rails around the 7. You'll see I hit it high left, go 1, 2, actually bump the 7. This was an error. Absolutely an error. It was completely avoidable, but it's real life. We got to make it work. So I'm going to shoot the 7 ball here in the bottom right corner. I believe I hit this with a high right spin, somewhere around 2 o'clock. 1 to 2 o'clock. If you picture the cue ball being a clock, I cued it in between 1 and 2 o'clock. I have a great angle on the 8 here. This is actually the perfect angle. I can either draw straight back for the 9, and I think I have a little bit of an angle to where I'm cutting the 8 to the left. So I might quite possibly draw this cue ball all the way back down here and then send the cue ball into the 9. Yes, used a decent stroke there. Probably get it a little bit harder. I hit it with a little bit of low right spin. You can see it come off that rail there. I have a good shot on the 9 here. The whole key is basically just a stop shot. Straight low English, nice and smooth. Utilize the whole pocket, make it play big, and leave the cue ball there for the 10. I did see a little bit of leg movement, a little bit of body movement when I stroked the 9. I thought I missed it. I hit the face of the pocket, but thankfully it fell. And that concludes this rack on the road to 1,000 breaking rounds. And as always, I would like to thank my sponsors over the years.